One of the most frequently asked things I get told to do by people in the community is make another tier list. It's no secret that I haven't made a tier list for probably almost a year now, and the reason is simple. Tier lists are shallow, pointless things for this game because at the end of the day, ranking heroes as individuals is not something you can do for Idle Heroes. And even if you did, it would just be a list with Transcendence heroes all at the top, which is of no use to anybody unless you have tens of thousands of dollars to instantly spend. The people that watch tier lists are new and inexperienced players. Players who cannot put the information that Transcendence heroes are the best into practice. All it does is give them deluded ideas that they need to go and turbo out a sword flash as soon as possible or whatever other thing they decide to go and do, and it makes them make so many mistakes in the long run. In fact, I feel like tier lists can be more harm than good. And that is coming from a creator who made their way into the Idle Heroes community on the back of tier lists. There was a time when I had the pinned post on Reddit with a tier list that I created. I used to be all about PvP tier lists, but you'll know since, in my opinion, PvP became less important, I have cared far less about the PvP meta scene, and when anybody asks me for a PvE tier list, I die a little inside, because PvE is not a game mode that you can make a tier list for. I've tried to rank them in a myriad of different ways, and it's difficult because heroes serve a purpose. That's it, right? Whether one hero does it better than another doesn't matter. The question is, can that hero beat CLN 20? Yes or no? Can this hero help me complete this game mode I'm struggling on? Yes or no? And what you guys need to know is not that Idle Heroes is based around heroes that you can rank on a tier list, but instead team compositions and artifact choices that will help you in the long term. So let's talk about teams that actually work and are viable. I've said it to death if you go into any of my Idle Heroes videos made over the last 6 months, that Eloise is the go-to. Eloise is a fantastic early hero because on her own she can perform exceptionally well without a Transcendence hero. And that's very important because I don't care if you watch some tier list that told you the Transcendence heroes are the best. When you unlock the Void, you do not have 5 million crystals of Transcendence. And the one biggest problem with ranking Transcendence heroes as the best is idiot players go ahead and pull crystals of Transcendence because they want to get themselves as many freaking Transcendence heroes as they can because they saw they were at the top of the list. And they don't understand that imprints are more important. First reason I hate tier lists. Okay, anyway, let's go back. Let's talk about Eloise, okay? Just because I've said it to death, I'm going to be pretty quick. You can go watch my videos about her. Eloise is a brilliant hero. She has tons of sustain. She can perform very well on her own. And another reason I really like Eloise is because if you look at the Celestial Island and you go into the Cloud Island or get someone to do it for you if you don't have a Void 4, you can easily find that Eloise has some of the coolest tenants in the game. She has Flora in tenant spot 1, which is shared with Vesta, if you wanted to go in that direction. There's also Ithaca, one of the best broken spaces heroes you can possibly have. We also have in tenant spot 2 Jara, which you could eventually change into Transcendence Jara if you wanted to, but mainly tenant spot 3 and tenant spot 4 is where we see the signature heroes. We have Tix, a really important hero for Aspen Dungeon, and we have Carrie, a really important hero who can help Eloise's weaknesses by stealing energy from problem heroes like Garuda in the Realms Gate and the Void Vortex. I can't stress that strong enough just how important it is that people just follow these little principles and guidelines. I don't care if a tier list is going to throw someone higher than Eloise. What matters to you as a new player is getting yourself a hero like Eloise who has good tenants, who not only will benefit your account as individuals, but will also benefit Eloise as tenants. If you don't know what tenants do, you basically put them in a house and you get bonus stats. Look, my Vesa here is getting a ton more attack, HP and speed, all because of the heroes that I have as tenants for her. And yes, it takes time to upgrade this and make it more powerful, but it pays off in the long run. And you might think, what if I don't have a Void 4 hero? I don't have a house unlocked. Well, the moment you do get a Void 4 hero, wouldn't it feel so good if you already had those tenants pre-built? Yes, because you can just go pop them in straight away. So you need to not think about tier lists when it comes to Idle Heroes. It's a stupid and flawed concept because it results in you thinking about heroes as individuals and not as teams. For example, when weighing up your first Transcendence hero, you shouldn't go and look at a tier list that ranks the Transcendence heroes. It's first of all really silly because the power level totally changes. You might see a list that tells you Jara is useless, when actually right now, in some game modes, she is the best Transcendence hero in the game. I just made a video talking about her and how powerful her Tree of Origin core is, and these cores are changing everything. They're totally mixing up the meta. So any tier list that was put out literally anything earlier than, I would say, the last 3 days is totally irrelevant, because it will not take into consideration these cores. In addition, let's go ahead and talk about some heroes that, quite frankly, will probably end up not getting a high enough place on tier lists, even though they should. And that's going to be heroes that do tiny weeny little things that no one really considers. Heroes like Olivia that have such unique abilities, like Shrink, that can actually really change a fight in your favor, because it's a targeting ability that's a skill effect, so can't be removed by Purify, and it decreases the damage you take and increases the damage that that enemy takes. Understanding how heroes work is way more important than just looking at how they're ranked on a list. If you guys haven't seen, and honestly a lot of you probably haven't, because they haven't been performing as well as I'd like on YouTube, I actually put out a series of videos breaking down each faction. If you haven't seen, I break down the Shadow faction, the Fortress faction, and the Abyss faction. I'm going to be working on a Forest faction video as soon as Anniversary is over, and then we'll move on to Light and Dark and the Transcendence heroes. It's way more important to understand heroes than just look at them on a list. So hopefully that will tell you what heroes are used for, right? And I also made a video talking about E5s, right, and how to choose your next E5. Don't just look at a tier list and look for the most powerful. In my time, like years reviewing accounts, one of the most common mistakes I see people do is just build good heroes. A team of good stuff isn't going to perform well. You can get some of the best food in the world and shove it in a cake. It's not going to taste good, right? I'm sorry. It just won't. I promise you. You can go ahead and get the stankiest, most delicious, gooey cheese, put it on a cake, gross, right? Cake's great. Cheese is great. They don't belong together. And before someone says cheesecake, get out of here. That's not the same thing, right? So you can't just put good stuff together and hope it works. Another fundamental thing, it's artifacts, right? People often ask, what's the best artifact on this hero? Let's say they're asking for someone like, I don't know, let's say Sword Flash. Well, let's say they just got a Sword Flash as their first Transcendence hero. They weren't really paying attention to the meta and were like, okay, what artifact should I stick on this? You will hear so many different answers, because the answer changes depending on the game mode you're in. It could be Antler's Cane to deal a ton of damage. It could be AMB. The correct answer, technically, if you're going to guide a new player, is Melodic Strings. Running a Splendid or even just Glittery or upgraded Melodic Strings on a Sword Flash is really good, because it gives her an active skill round 1, but then you need to follow up that information by telling people that they need to be running an Ignis, because Ignis can energy feed, and then you get an active skill round 1 and round 2 on Sword Flash. And the reason that's the case is because you need Sword Flash to get a kill round 1 so that she has impeccable flow, and she can then take advantage of the impeccable flow in round 2, which allows her to deal damage to everybody. See how much more in-depth that discussion was about Sword Flash as a hero and how to unlock her abilities than just build good heroes on top of tier list. You will do good, right? Understanding how to make the most out of your heroes is the key to doing well in Idle Heroes, and a tier list cannot tell you that. And that's why I haven't made tier lists, because they can be really, really misinforming. And also, how the heck do you compare heroes, right? How can you tell me that Eos and Aspen can be compared in Seal Land, right? Yes, you could argue that Aspen will get further in Seal Land because he has the chance to get to Seal Land 30. Okay, that's cool. With the right team, that's nice. But at the same time, he's going to need a ton of Dark Heroes, they're expensive. But then Eos needs a ton of Light Heroes, they're expensive, so that's fine. But at the same time, Sun Devourer Eos can't do Dark Seal Land. And Aspen can't do Light Seal Land. So to compare the two is just... It doesn't make sense, because their own Seal Lands are totally different and totally unique with different opponents and different enemies. So how can you compare heroes in certain game modes? It's like the same with the new campaign. You can only use Transcendence heroes in this game mode. So how on earth can we compare heroes that aren't transcended with Transcendence heroes? It's just not possible. So you can look at my account here. You'll notice that it's massively changed since you all last saw it, and there'll be a video about why that's the case coming out later on. But it's all heavily towards support because I'm focusing on a very specific strategy, right? And that is why I've built some heroes, which honestly, you will not find anywhere near the top of a tier list. We got Flora, okay, she's a 10, and we got Olivia, double Seahu, double Rogan, Drake, Sherlock, Holmes Young, Olivia, Ignis. Like, it's just heroes that are here to unlock my most powerful hero, which is Vesa, Freya, and Jara. I'm literally playing into those three because I'm focusing on strategy and team synergy. Now, I realize if you're a new player, how on earth do you work out strategy, team building, good tactics, what artifacts you need? Well, first of all, you're not going to learn that from a tier list. Second of all, you'll learn it from finding goals that you want to achieve and then discovering how other people did it. I refer to this as goal-orientated progress. For example, you heard that clearing Aspen dungeons is really good, so ask around how other people did it, and you'll learn that Penny and Tix and some Transcendence heroes can reliably get you to Death 100. Heck, people have even done it with an Eloise. So you learn how they did it, you ask around, you get some information, piece it together, and realize that you'll need a few imprints on a Tix. You can get away with just giving him a Kiss of Ghost, which you managed to get for free from a Bond radio chest, and believe it or not, there you go, you have your solution to Aspen Dungeon Death 100. And then you realize it's a little harder than you thought because you need to use demon potions at specific waves. So again, you ask around in the community, and you get given the answers, and that's something that's a little difficult, is because a lot of learning about this game comes from each other and the community and asking. And if you don't have someone to reach out to, or you don't have friends or guildmates to talk to, then it can often be quite difficult. As well, it also results in echo chambers where people think something's the case, but it isn't. And then everybody starts saying it. And then before you know it, everyone thinks something really dumb is actually intelligent. And, you know, I've been guilty of causing things like this to happen. For example, when I built an E5 on a free-to-play series that was a Rogan, right? And everyone started saying Rogan's good as a first E5. No, that's not true, right? He's not. I've done it. I've built it. He's terrible. But a lot of people thought that was the case. There was another time I was on a Wales account and he was really adamant that I opened Crystals of Transcendence from Spheres. And then everyone started saying it's okay to open Crystals of Transcendence from Spheres because MK did it. Again, these things aren't true. It's just that in that particular instance, that's what we did. I mean, hopefully with this series I started where I built Freya as a first Transcendence hero and a first E5, hopefully a lot of you are smart enough to go, aha, we should build Freya as our first E5 and make her Transcendent. No, okay, no, you're not going to do that, are you? Because it's just a silly thing we did because it was funny. And actually, it's been a really good challenge to see how that account has evolved, especially with Anniversary. Some more videos on that will be coming out soon. So understanding that people do things and that they can cause these echo responses where a lot of misinformation gets spread, I guess that doesn't help, because if I'm telling you on one hand to talk to other people and find out what they've done to inform you with what you need to do, but then as well telling you that you can end up with pools of misinformation which can throw you out, I guess that's going to lead you to doubt, right? I guess evaluate your sources is the next thing I can say. Ask people for evidence of the clear they did, or think about how credible your source of information is going to be. Did you just hear it on a random YouTube video that one time and they didn't show you any information? I've got a few passing comments like that. You know what? Ask me. Grill me. Put me on the spot. Say, MK, is that actually true? You know, do things like that to content creators. It's definitely worth it. Likewise, if you see something on a Discord community where it's this huge, big, well-known community and it's a public pinned post, it's probably going to be accurate. I mean, loads of heroes can do things that people don't expect. I cleared Sealand 20 with a Faith Blade. No one thought that was possible. I did it. It was kind of cool. Heroes can defy the expected. And you might think, well, Faith Blade's a terrible hero. He's low down on tier lists. But the fundamental job of most light heroes is to clear Sealand 20 and then get regressed. It doesn't matter if it's a Tara, a Russell, an Eos. As long as you do it and then regress them to get your food back, that's totally fine. Also, a lot of people are afraid to regress heroes. Regressing heroes is totally okay, as long as you know what you're doing, right? Because sometimes you can just build a hero and regress them, you get everything back, it's great. It's a really good thing to do. So that's another thing you need to understand, that actually building a hero to do a specific purpose, even though they're not a very highly ranked hero on whatever tier list you looked at, it's good because they need to fulfill the purposes you're trying to achieve. So I'll say it again, goal-orientated choices. So my takeaway comment for this is not for you to like lose faith in tier lists, but to approach them without thinking I have to build all the ones at the top. The important thing is to understand why heroes are good and what they can do, and then understanding how to apply that to your account. And that is something a tier list cannot teach you. That's what learning about the game and understanding what the different characters do in it can teach you. And I do account reviews where I can answer your questions. You can join those on Tuesday nights over on Twitch and through our Discord. And I'm, wherever possible, always looking for comments that I can either make videos about in the YouTube comment section or reply to. I read every single comment. I just don't necessarily reply to them. And why not be like Handmade of Ham and follow me on Twitch? You can actually discuss things with me there. A lot of people don't know that I'm live most days in a week, and I try to answer lots of questions that are interesting and informative. If you pop in and say, hey, here's all my E5 heroes, who should I build next? I'm probably not going to reply to that. But if you ask me something informative that's like, okay, I have this artifact, is it good on this hero? Or I have this artifact or this artifact, which one should I put on my hero to do this? As soon as you give me a goal and a hero, we can then start a discussion, because that's where you start thinking critically in Idle Heroes. Can Holmes Young beat CLN 20? If so, what artifact do I need? Great question. And funnily enough, the answer is like a plate of Courageous. It's actually very easy. And also it depends on your imprints. But again, that's something that's pretty common across most people. So yeah, hopefully this hasn't just been like a ramble complain about tier lists. It wasn't meant to be. It's just me discussing the actually tier lists aren't all they're cracked up to be. And if you're a new player who's just found this video, hopefully it's taught you to think for yourself, and that you should actually look at heroes and evaluate them and think, what do they do for your account? Because just because you heard someone was really good, it doesn't actually necessarily mean they're good for you. And just because Transcendence heroes are the ones at the top of the list doesn't mean you need to bend over backwards to build them. Actually, Stellar Shards are way more important. And the final thing you must consider for an account is not how hard and how easily can I clear this game mode. It's just, can I do it with what I've got right now? And if I can't, what else do I need? And that is the simple step to making progress. Finding the missing pieces to your jigsaw puzzle, not somebody else's. If you want to catch more discussion videos like this, please do join me here on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button, and let me know if you've got any questions about the game. This is your opportunity to talk to me. I'll try and answer these as much as I can. I'm sure we're going to have loads of really knowledgeable people in the community as well in the comment sections trying to answer your questions, and make sure they're goal orientated. Tell us what you're trying to do and what you have, because that's going to make for a much better discussion. Don't just say, I have these E5s, who do I build next? Because no one's going to answer that, because it's not a very helpful question. Instead, let's talk about your goals, let's talk about what you want to achieve on your account, and let's find the answers for you. I'll see you next time, folks. Happy idling.